Stampers and Crafters. It's Kevon at ktstamps.com creating cards for you. And today is another one of our Thursday. Our Throw the Dice Thursday. So here you go. This has been in my mind for I don't know how long. I think for the most part, I did everything except for the Regals. So please bear with me. And remember, whenever you're throwing the creative dice, you don't have to do everything. This just gives you a little idea on how to create a card. Okay, it's challenging. So this is the card that I have for you today. And it's a fun fold, but it's a different type of a card. Okay, and I'm going to teach you how to do this today. I'm really excited. So here we go. Let me tell you everything we're going to use. We are using our Regal Winter Designer Series paper. And this is a whole bunch of absolutely beautiful dark colors. And we're going to add some floral, and it is absolutely beautiful. I love this cardstock. So we're using the purple and some of the wild wheat. We are also going to use Thanks for Being So Kind, because it's a thank you, and that's from the Happy Hibiscus. We're using our Everyday Arches, and all we're going to use is the dies from that. We're using our mixed labels because your kindness made my day. That's what we're going to use. And then with the Regal Floral, which goes with our Winter Floral Designer Series paper, we are using some of these flowers, this leaf, and this flower. And so we're putting that on the top. And then last but not least, we're going to come in with some flat adhesive-backed pearls. So that's what we're going to do. Now, this gets a little bit confusing. When you cut this, you want to make sure that you have a small piece of this hanging over so you can see the ridges on this arch. And what that will do is it will give you the fold. And this is the largest. So you're going to see this. This is the largest of the arch dies. And you cut 2 of these. And again, you want to make sure that you have a fold. So each one of these has a fold. So you're going to do 2 of those. And I think it was about the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 folded in. Well, I took a standard size 5 1/2, 8 1/2, folded it in half, and that's when I cut this. And again, all the measurements are going to be on my blog. So then the next thing I cut, I always start when I am doing dies, I start from the back and move in. So the big one was our first. I left the second one here, and now the third one comes out with 1 piece, a double piece, and another 1 piece. Okay, so you're just going to cut these normal, and then on this one, you're going to have a small part of the middle hanging over. And this is our 3rd piece. Our 4th piece is just a single, and this goes on the front. And we're going to decorate it with flowers. Now, so I can show you, we've talked about this piece. We've talked about this inner piece. We have this piece down. And we have this piece on the front. So that's what we've talked about so far. And that was our 4th largest. And then the smallest we have, well, the 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth smallest, we have the inside of what's going on. And then we have the outside of what's going on. All right, so that's what's going to help us create our card today. And you have to understand all that, so then you're able to get it all organized. All right, so we're going to start with the inside. And what we're going to do is take our glue, our liquid glue, and we are just going to put it on the back and then line up the two together. And we are just lining them up. And I just have to go back in and line this up just a little bit better. All right, so here we go. And then we need to bring in our bone folder again and give it a nice, easy little press. Okay, so we have that. So now we're bringing in our wheat. And our wheat is going to go right beside this, and it's going to sit flush with this. And on it will be your kindness. And that's going to go on the inside. All right, and then this purple will go on the outside. Those two colors are very pretty together. So we're going to lay this down because we have some cutting that we're going to end up having to do. So we're putting this on the inside, and it's the same size. All right, so I'm folding this over just a little bit. So you can also see I'm trying to line up the outside. And then the inside, because of that being cut off, I have to cut off the inside. So they line up, because if I was to fold it over, do you see how it gets caught? So I just have to cut this off. And so now when I fold it over, it's nice and easy. All right. And then I'm going to put this together. Take my glue, and I should have my silicone pad out here. And then I'm going to put the folded part to the outside and line this up with the bottom. And remember, you like the green glue because it allows you to move your card. And when I put it down, all I'm doing is making sure that the bottoms are even. So there we go. This is our first part. So we put the big panel in and then the small panel in. And you can see that I'm not lined up very straight. Okay, so I'm just being fussy right now. If you don't like having a little bit of this show on the outside, cut it off. That's all I did, is just cut it off. All right, so here we are with this. Now we're going to take our smaller piece and we're just going to put it in the middle of the card. And I would say if you want to be able to write more on this, then cut a piece and put it on the back. And you can write more. All right, as we flip it over then, okay, just like this. And if you like this other one, I used the Designer Series paper that was, I think it was this SAB? Bloom Impressions. So I used that as my Designer Series paper on the back. All right, so from here, we are going to come in with our white piece. That just gives it a nice little outline, and I like the white on top of the Blackberry Bliss. And that's what this is. This is Blackberry Bliss, and this is Wild Wheat. And then I'm taking this next piece. That is the Wild Wheat. And I'm sticking it right on the center. So it just looks like there's lots of little keyholes or doors or something that you're moving down. From here, I am going to take one of my little butterflies, and I'm just going to put some glue on the back. And I'm not going to stick it down. I'm just going to kind of add it in here as just some embellishment. And then because it is a little bit sticky, I'm just bringing in my embossing buddy to take off the stickiness. And looks like we have somebody who's on the site today. Thank you so much for being here. I can't read who it is, but I really appreciate you. Let me see if I can find it. Please let me know who you are. Thank you, thank you. From here then, we're just going to push this over, and it is not. There's lots of card in here. So I'm trying to get this pretty much straight. So we're going to take that and we're just going to decorate it. And I'm bringing in my silicone on this one. I already have dimensions on this. You can see that I've made a mistake on this, so it's really important that you use the back. And I'm just putting this up towards the top. I'm taking this and I'm just kind of putting it all over. Taking one of the wild wheat flowers. I'm putting it down below. Another one, oops, of the plant. And you see that I have some dots on here. I thought that those would just be covered up. And then all I'm doing is putting this together so I can put it on the front. And I'm going to see, I'm going to have to. And you know, I didn't do a very good job of folding the pieces. When you are doing these, please make sure that you fold and crease on both sides. And I did not do a very good job of that. And right now, I cannot get these little dimensionals off the back. Even when I have an edge. You know, I may have to take all these off. There we go. I'll take that off, and then I'll put a new one on. Sometimes your dimensionals get old, and if they get old, you just have to put newer ones on and hope they come off. I don't know why that happens. There you go. And then I wanted to take a little bit of this gold. And I am just going to do 3 fingers, go around, then give it a cut. And I am just going to put this down on top of the dimensional. And then I'm just going to lay it down here. Add another green over here at the side. I think that's going to be enough. Just give it a good little press. Let me see if I can lift this up and put this down. There we go. That looks much better. And then I'm going to put this on the card. And this was just a last minute idea. And this was the Simply Elegant trim. And now I'm going to take my green glue and put it down. And before I do that, I need to get this. That's what I should have done in the first place. And stick this down. And that's the outside cover. And then I'm bringing in some of my flat pearls. Just adding them on top of all of this. And because I have a little dot here, I'm just going to add just a couple of pearls there to make it 9. So that's the way my card looks. What do you think, Karen? Do you like it? Thanks for being here today, Karen. I really appreciate it. There we go. That's a card that I would hope you'd want to get in the mail. And here are the 2 cards, if you want to take a screenshot. The only difference is I spent a little more time making sure that I was flat on this card than I was over here. So I had a better crease. I think these are just beautiful. I love the way that they look. All right, so that's our first card, and I just call it an arch card. So from here now, the next card we're going to do looks like this. But when you put it all together, then it kind of stands up and makes a little, like a Lego look. And here's where the card is. And then on the back side is where you can write on it. So we are using Thank You from the WildFlower design. We are using the mixed floral dies and stamps, and we are just using this, and I think it is an echinacea, and the die that will cut this out. Using the rhinestones. I got a whole bunch of combo pens. This is an old device, and it has scissors, and this one is just a perforator. This one is a cutter, and this one does rolling of the edges. And so I added just a little bit of texture to the front of my card. And you know, I didn't tell you that there's also a die in here that has a nice little weedy look to it. And I use that. And I use that in 2 colors. The basic white and the Granny Apple Green. So I'm getting everything out and ready. So the first thing we need to do is, oh, and I'm sorry. These are scored at 1 7/8, 3, 5 1/2, 6 5/8. 1 7/8, 3, 5 1/2, 8 5/8. All right, so we're just going to go ahead and start giving it a good crease. And I have dust from my embossing buddy. And this is what I should have done on the other ones. I completely forgot. That will give it a good crease, and it will fold really well too. And there we go. And then what you're going to do is closest to the middle, you're going to fold in, and then you're going to fold out. So if you're looking from a top, it's going to be a valley fold, a mountain fold, go across the hill, and do a mountain fold to a valley fold. That's what we got. So while we have this laying flat, the first thing we're going to do is turn this over. And again, all the measurements are on my blog. And we're just going to put the back one in. Turn it over. And we are going to put on the sides. And these are directional, so you really want to make sure that they're not upside down. And you want to place that on the first and the last panels. Okay, so we have that. Then we are taking our second piece, and I'm just bringing out, you can do these with a pair of scissors, but I really like this the best. It just gives it a little bit of, do you see? It's just taking the sides off, giving it a little ruffle so it looks like it's going to give a hug to the cardstock that's going to fit in it. So if you have one of these, you can get that back out and use it for this. And all I'm going to do is add some tape on this. There we go. So it looks like a little bit of a picture frame with some edges. This, I did my stamping. I did the thank you at the very top, and this is done in Poppy Parade. And I am putting this down. So with what I did to the edges, it looks like it's giving it a nice little frame. All right, we're going to put that over to the side. Excuse me. And then we're going to bring out our echinacea. This is Boho blue, and this is the light. So I'm just going to start with the light. And I'm going to go as fast as I can because I forgot I didn't color these in. And everybody knows how to color. And these are the blending, the Stampin' blends, and they come in combos, and they come with a dark and with a light. And now all I'm going to do is put a darker mark in the center, and that's all I'm going to do with my dark. And it's just, it comes with flares and with points, and I'm using the solid or the point for just adding some color in the middle. Okay, and I don't know if you can see the difference. It's just a little bit darker in the center. Now when these dry, they do dry lighter. So now this is my flare, and this is copper clay, and all I'm going to do is add this in the center. And copper clay and Boho blue are two of the colors that are leaving us at the beginning of May. So you really want to make sure that you get those colors so you have them, whether they're ray anchors or whether you like the Stampin' blends. You may just want to have an extra set for yourself. All right, so we're doing that. We're moving right along. We're going to bring in then this is our Mossy Meadow, and all I'm going to do is just put it around the outside. I like the flare a little bit better on the lighter. So I'm using light first. Oh boy. And you can see my tip is a little bit crooked, and that means I need to get a new brush. So I need to put that down on my list. All right, so I have that. And now with my darker, I'm just coming down and just adding that as part of my stems and letting the stem be just a little bit darker. And I'm also lining the center of the leaf. And I'm just going over it again because I know that it will get lighter. And this is my dark and light. So you can see that the flowers coming together. This is our Daffodil Delight. And that's what I'm just going to color the flowers with. And they're just it. This is a beautiful color that I'm using. I like Daffodil Delight because it's just so springy, summery. Okay, so this was my light. So then I'm going to take my dark, and I don't want the flare. I want the point or the solid area, and I'm just following it around, outlining. So then there's some added color. And again, I'm doing the exact same thing down here. And I'll show you the colors in just a minute. And that is my colors. I love this. I just think it is so beautiful. All right, so now we're going to take this and we're going to put our green down first. Now you want to be aware of where the score marks are. Yes, this is going to run right up against the flower, and you know what? I just let it be okay. But you do not want to get any glue outside this area because you don't want it to stick. Remembering that this is your outside, and all you're going to do is put glue down below to hold this in place. Now, as I move towards the middle, then I can add more. But remember, I don't want a lot of this to stick. I want it to float. There we go. Now the same thing's going to happen on this side. The only difference is that it's going to be the outside. So you want to be aware of where the outside is. So you want to get the bottom so the bottom sticks, and then you can go ahead and go after some of the longer. The longer weeds that are absolutely beautiful. All right, so here we go. There we go. So then when we close it, it should close up nice and easy. Now, I also see a couple of places that I need to add just a little bit of glue to. And that's because I don't want it to fall off. There we go. And then I'm just going to I'm going to use some of my foam adhesive sheets and put that on here. I'm going to cut this. Oh, wait, I don't need to cut this. I'll just get a smaller one. And all I'm doing is picking them through, placing them on here. So I'm going for little ones. There we go. And I just need one more little one at the bottom. And I think I'm going to cut this just a little bit. There we go. And now I'm just looking on the outside to make sure nothing shows. And then I can take these off and decorate. And maybe I didn't decorate very much on this other one. And this is just going to sit right in the middle. Doesn't that look great? Wow. Let me get this all out of the way. And then I have my Stella. And I'm going to give it just a little bit of shine. I love a little bit of shine. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see much of it. It's just very subtle. And I don't think I'm going to put any of these on. I think I like it the way that it is. So let me get this out of the way so you can see the two. And see how they fit. Aren't they great? And then this is the two cards I did today. I love them. Yes, this one I am going to need to add some more to it. I just think these cards are great. And I thank you for everybody who is watching today. I really appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Karen, for being here. All right, from here we have our next one's going to be Over the Top Punches, Brights, Friendship, and Blending. So that's what we're doing next time. So I just want to say thank you to everyone. Please make sure that if you're on Facebook, give me a like. Also, if you have a better card design, put it together and post it. I love that. If you're on YouTube, give me a subscription. Tell me that you like this. I really love doing cards for you. So again, this is another Thursday, and I say have a great weekend. And my name is Kevon. I'm from ktstamps.com, and my motto is I love creating cards for you. So take care, everybody. Bye-bye.